we have a special guest tonight, and I think that she's going to be somewhat of a regular because this is really in her wheelhouse. And I definitely think you guys are going to come to appreciate a lot of her wisdom in this area. I know that she speaks a lot of just truth and wisdom into a lot of people's lives. If you've ever had a chance to talk with her one-on-one, she really truly is called in this area and is incredibly gifted. So I definitely can't wait to have her on more and more as kind of like a big help to both Krista and I. And Krista is at a church drama practice right now. So that's why she's not with us right at the moment. But I really do. Oh, hold on. And I want to record it. I'm a hot mess, guys. Give me grace today. All of the grace. All you can spare, please and thank you. Okay. So, all right. So anyway, also thank you guys. I see there's 33 of you on. Also, if you have a chance, remind your teams. Some of them don't get the text alerts. If they don't get the text alerts, remind them to subscribe to it so they do. But anyway, like I was saying, I'm super appreciative of this woman and kind of how our paths crossed. And yeah, Haley, she's right. Don't forget to screenshot this and put it in my stories. Everybody look cute. Except for me, but everybody else look really cute. Okay. So someone like fixing their hair. Love it. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, we're so pretty, guys. And handsome. I see some handsome people in here too. But anyway, I love that you guys are getting a lot of this. Oh, Caitlin, I'm so glad I'm soothing your baby to sleep. Everyone else finds my voice soothing except for everyone in my household, which is ironic. So like me, my husband, and my children don't say that, don't at all. So anyway, I'm super excited for you guys to listen to what she has to say. I really do feel like a lot of it can be quite discerning, can really be nice to hear from somebody besides me all the time, or besides leaders that you see on the regular. And even though you will be hearing from her a lot more, I really do feel like it's really nice to get a perspective from somebody who's kind of, I don't even want to say in the grind with you, because I think you guys know that I'm right there, right alongside you, but I think you also know what I mean when I say that. Because I think, again, sometimes it's really easy for people to kind of look at a 200K and just say, well, easy for you to say, right? Easy for you to say because you're there, I'm here. And I want to let you know that I totally get that I understand that. And so I really do think that it's really nice to hear from somebody who's even still somewhat brand new in this and is just kind of like, hey guys, I was where you were not so long ago. And here's kind of how I used my, these mindset hacks. And here's exactly what I did to kind of pull myself out of it and to continue to do the things I need to do. So before I continue to keep talking, I really want to introduce our special guest, which is Rachel Gunther. And she's just an incredible human. And I don't know necessarily what God has laid on her heart tonight or what she has ready to share with you guys, but I just know that it's probably going to be absolutely incredible. So just kind of buckle up, get your notebooks ready, and be prepared to be spoken to. So I will mute myself. The floor is all yours, girl.
Thank you so much. That was an amazing introduction. I don't think
you're muted, or no, you're not. See, I did it again. The computer was muted.
I love it. Yeah, I did the same thing. I didn't even know that was a thing until tonight. So that was like the nicest intro. That was nicer than my wedding. I think that was, I'm not even kidding. That's like the nicest thing ever. I'm so blessed to be here. I'm so happy to be a part of this team. And I'm really excited to be able to come on Mindset Monday. I am someone who also struggles at times with mindset. And I realize I have a lot more that I really should be sharing. So that's why I really felt like I should be on here. And I really appreciate you, Courtney, for giving me the opportunity to speak. So one thing that I really wanted to touch on, and it's something that I have definitely been learning from a lot of our Zooms, mindset, and just what I've been seeing is time organization and organizing our time. And it's kind of one of the things that I've noticed lately is that I think sometimes we get in the flow of life with kids, with family, with work, and sometimes we feel a little like burnt out at both ends. We feel like, um, oops, what did I do? Oh no. Okay, we're good. No, I was unmuting you, but we're good. Um, sorry, guys. I'm brand new. Um, so I think one thing that I've seen is that when people take on such a big new thing in their life, there's a lot of questions about whether this is the right fit for them. And we get really, because we question those things, it really affects our ability to show up and really to get things done in a productive manner. And I really, in the beginning, was really questioning, should I really be here? My husband's deployed, I have 4 kids. And I'm like, girl, you have been waiting for this opportunity your whole life. You are the first person in your own way. And in learning all these things on this team, I really sat down and I'm like, yes, this is absolutely all helping. And what I realized is what works for other people may not work for me. And I love all the strategies and all of the things I've been learning. I have grown and learned more here in the last few months of my life than a lot of other places. Having so many different things in life, like we all do, we really need to prioritize where we're coming from. And we really need to prioritize what is more important. What is the area that we really want to focus on the most. I think a lot of people get burnt out, and I'm assuming that people leave this company when they know that there is an opportunity to be had, that is obtainable, but they end up burning the wick at both ends and they just get burnt out. And I really felt like I was doing that to myself a few times, and I just felt like, you know what, this is something I think we need to hit the nail on the head. And they teach about this all the time. And sometimes we get so caught up in, well, I should do this, I should do this, I should do this. And for me, I'm kind of like Courtney, I get kind of like scatterbrained. When I have too much, if I don't write it down, or like she schedules it, if I don't do that, I will get so overwhelmed. I'm like my 11-year-old when he's looking at his homework. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I just start freaking out because there's so much things to do. And I don't end up being very productive with that. So what I really realized is I needed to find a new recipe, a new way to organize my time. I looked at my time like a recipe card, and I said, you know what, I need to look at what works better for me. And I think the first thing when we feel like we're getting burnt out is to stop everything we're doing. The first thing we need to do is stop and to just figure out where our priorities lie. What is the most important? For me as a mom, my kids are most important. So if I'm pushing myself too hard in business or somewhere else in another area of life, like let's say I was on a bowling team, I'm not, but and that was in the way, well then that would become an issue, and that would start interfecting. I can't even speak English. That would start interfering with me and how I feel as a mother. And then I would start, I would have a lot of doubt on that. So when we create a time schedule and when we start to organize, we need to really first prioritize what's most important first for you personally in your life. And only you know those things. Maybe you know that your significant other, your spouse, your mom, your grandma, they're going to help you with your kids, and you really can focus because now is the time to grind and focus on building something amazing. And if that's the case, I want to just help light you on fire and just bid you like awesome good luck. But if you're like many people, your business is not your first priority, it's your family. And if you don't schedule time in for your family, for your downtime, when you're going to cook dinner, if you're like me, you're going to get a phone call, and then you're going to put your planner down and your schedule, and then you're going to get lost on a phone call, and you pick it back up and you're like, oh my God, I forgot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. And how do I pick back up? What do I do? And that's when we really need to show up, and we really need to show up big. When we schedule our time you need to act like that's a priority. No, we're not in an office building. Yes, we can take a call, but if you schedule this hour to work and you get a call and you can take that call later, then you really need to show up and you need to make yourself and your schedule a priority. Because if you don't abide by your schedule, nobody else will. And you're going to end up stressing yourself out. And the next thing that you really need to look at when you sit down to prioritize is, what are my stressors? What are the things that stress me out the most that I can't afford to have happen? So for me, and I know a lot of other people have felt this, it's getting through a whole day and have gone through a whole schedule and going to bed at night and feeling like I didn't do enough work or I didn't spend enough time with my kids. There's something that got dropped that was a big deal, a big priority got dropped. And if you're not focusing on what those stressors are in your life, maybe you're someone that needs to get up in the morning, and maybe you need to, sorry, I'm so distracted. You're good. Sorry guys, ADD brain. If you're someone that needs to get up in the morning and you need that me time in the morning, and that time is important to you, and you're more productive after you eat or after 10 a.m., then that is the time that you should be scheduling me time. If you know that if you don't get your work done first thing in the morning, that it's not going to get done all day because everything else is going to take over, then that's the time. I always recommend doing the things you don't want to do first. And I've heard that in these meetings. The first thing you do in the morning, once you have priorities, like for me, I have kids, they have to get on the bus. I gotta shove them out the door. They got to get on that school bus, or I got to get them set up with virtual learning. I still have some at home. So once I have those things that absolutely have to happen, that's when you schedule in that power hour. That's when you schedule in and you show up and you do it like those work with me meetings, like Tracy, when she gets on and she's like 5 minutes, go. And you really hold yourself to that, figure out, what do you need to do? Well, I'm not really messaging enough people. So the first thing you're going to do, and you put it in your notebook in the morning. Well, I need to message people. Well, maybe I've been reacting and commenting too much. Maybe I'm not in my messenger. If you're not in your messenger, your return on investment is very low. And that's something that I really am keeping myself accountable for, is I'm doing everything else. I'm on the Zooms, I'm rewatching Zooms, I'm in the meetings. I'm learning, I'm growing, but I am not enough in my messenger, and I'm not doing those income producing activities. If it comes down to you watching a Zoom and you doing an income producing activity, if you have not first done an income producing activity, like adding new people, growing, checking in with customers, messaging people, just growing relations with people, that needs to be your priority, because this is your business and no one's going to come work it for you. If you're not showing up big for yourself, you can't expect other people to. You can't expect a team to float you if you don't want to show up big. And the other thing is, when you try to show up too big, sometimes that really affects us really quite negatively. I think sometimes we're like, oh, if I don't message 20 people today, I'm not gonna hit that goal. If you think too big, it's not gonna happen. I want you to think big, dream huge. But when you focus on something, you need to focus on what you're doing in that moment. So if this is your play with your kids time, then you put your phone down and you play with your kids. If this is dinner with your spouse, your significant other time, then you put your phone down, you respect your partner, you focus on that, and you give them your time and your energy. Just like when you're texting and you're messaging people in Messenger, you give people a few minutes of your time, really read and think about where they're coming from, where they're at in their space over there. What could their fears be? You know more than they do. They're brand new. So you really have to show up and realize that you are good enough, you are worth it, and you can do it. That's something for me that I think I forget sometimes, that I actually can do this. So I think, I keep saying, I think. I know that if you set your schedule like they're saying to set your schedule and to really do it, it's going to be hard. I mentioned to Courtney earlier, I was like, it's kind of like disciplining yourself. Like when you tell your kids, hey, I need you to go brush your teeth. And then they're like, oh, yeah, I brushed. And they're not really brushing. And she had the best hack for me today with toothbrushes. But anyway, I could share that later. But my brain just went blank. When you set yourself up and you're not, okay. So if you know that your kids aren't going to get up and brush their teeth unless you go in there and brush that with them, then you know what? Personally, I'm going to walk my kids. I have teenagers now, so I'm not talking about the little ones who actually need help, the big kids who have been taught no. When you are teaching, like for instance, your kids something, you know that you're going to need to talk to them and you're going to need to show them how to brush their teeth. Well, even big kids forget. They're gonna, like my kids are gonna rinse it under the water. They're gonna cut corners, right? They're not gonna brush fully. If you don't teach them to brush fully, they might get cavities. There's gonna be a consequence to that action. So when we practice getting up, going to school, having a schedule, showing up for work, when we practice, it's the same thing. It's just disciplining yourself. Just like we did when we learned how to brush our teeth, it's disciplining ourselves to show up for ourselves and be empowered with our schedule, not bogged down and stressed with our schedule. If you're scheduling too many things in one day and you're overwhelmed, then take a few things out of your day. But make sure those few things aren't like big things. If you can, yeah, Haley said doing 30-minute blocks has saved her life. I really didn't know the power of time blocking. I think having an ADHD brain and going or ADD brain, oh, the dishes, and then the dishes are half done. And then, oh, some crumbs are on the floor. Let me go sweep. Everything is half done. So you have to be really intentional and you have to sit down. You have to be intentional and you have to sit down and you really have to show yourself that you are capable of completing your tasks. So if you're not done messaging the amount of people you wanted to message, maybe you can take a few minutes out of your next thing. Maybe you can find another nugget in your day, find another chunk, 15 minutes, a few minutes in your day. Also, if, the gratification and compliment has no, I think sometimes too, we need to realize, like Courtney was saying, she went and walked her dog today, with her daughter. You need to schedule time into your day. Like if you were at a job and you're there a certain amount of hours, you have to have a break. If you're going to get burnt out, like scheduling something every 15 minutes, then don't. If 30-minute blocks work better for you, give yourself breathing room to really organize. I think I'm a little bit more like that. I need 30-minute blocks. If I do 15-minute blocks, I start to get a little stir crazy. But I think the other thing is to really be honest with yourself. One thing that I heard Courtney say once, and it really resonated with me, was, and I think it was on your podcast, Courtney, but it was, you're not, I can't word it correctly, but it was something along the lines of, you're not successful because you don't want to be successful. And you know what? That showed up for me big. Yeah, you know what? I know every single thing I need to do to be successful. I'm not doing it. Why? Out of fear. And when you let that fear run your life and run everything you do, you're not going to have empowered, big things happen. You need to take that leap of faith. If you want to, you need to sit down and be 100% honest with yourself. Do you want the success? Do you want the leadership? Do you want the amazing things that are possible if you put your time and energy in. If you want those things, they're 100% doable. If you're constantly getting no, I think 100% everybody that affects us more than we'd like to admit, when people are rejecting us, or they're like, the products aren't working, or I'm just not feeling this, or I think I'm done now. And we have awesome resources for that. They were talking about, hey, use your resources. I have never heard of any other company with as many resources and Zooms and motivation ever. I didn't think this existed. I think we need to like have posts about that like, you know, this is so awesome. You just never seen nothing like this. No other network marketing company has something quite like this. This is something special. So I don't really know if that was super mindset. I really feel like it is, because when we get stressed with our schedules, it really messes with our ability to really create intentional actions in our life. And when intentional actions aren't being had in our life, then we're really not getting the output for our action. We're going to put in, you know, excuse my language, but we're going to put in half-ass work. We're going to get half-ass results back. And then we're going to be unsatisfied. And then we're going to start doubting it. And then we're going to want to throw the towel in because, you know what, it's not really very successful. I mean, I spent all this time in all these Zooms and I've done all this stuff and I don't really feel like this is for me. And you could make yourself right. Whatever you tell yourself, you are 100% right. So you need to, in my opinion, because I believe this for myself and everybody, you need to figure out what you want and what you really, really want. What level are you comfortable be sitting at? Do you want to just have a no limit? Like you want to be a millionaire. That is happening for you. And if that's happening for you, then you need to light your butt on fire and you need to wake up every morning and think, what do these people do when what does a millionaire do every day? Does a millionaire get up and complain that their circumstance stinks? Like, is a 12K, is a 4K? Are they waking up and not really messaging people, not really showing up productive? Are they complaining on social media? Are they complaining to all their friends and family? You're not going to look like a reliable human being. You need to show up productive for yourself. Yeah, be honest with yourself, like Dakota said. You need to be honest with what you're really in it to win. And then once you know what your priorities are, what you're really committed to, like genuinely, wholeheartedly committed to, then you can create the things that you're willing to do. Maybe you're not willing to be a 200K and carry a whole team. Maybe the idea of that is terrifying to you. But I don't think we carry our whole team. I think sometimes the team carries the leader. And I think that's vice versa. I think a leader carries a team. And I think sometimes like my kids carry me and I carry my kids. They give me purpose. And then I, guide them. And it's just this beautiful relationship. And that's, I don't think it's always a scary thing, but I'm just rambling at this point.
No, I think it was absolutely perfect. I mean, like I said to you, I said, whatever is laid on your heart is what's meant to be heard and what needs to be heard by people. I think that sometimes when we come in with too many plans, we come in with something that's prescribed, but may not necessarily be what needs to be said in the moment. And so I think that's absolutely perfect. I mean, I think it hit the nail on the head for so many people, and it's funny, I have I'm writing on my box here, my notes as you're saying stuff. And it's funny because as I'm writing stuff, I'm trying to again, the ADD brain, I'm trying to write as fast as it's coming out. Cause I'm I'm writing and I'm going to think of something else and then I'm going to forget. So you literally, as I was writing stuff, it's like you were in my brain, actually saying what I was writing, because I put, what do you want most versus what you want now? You need to think about that. Are you prioritizing your actions based on what you want most? Or what you want right now, because they don't live in the same like reality. You are either operating for things you want later and saying no to the things you want now, or you are saying no to the things that you can't do both. I can't eat cake and be 120 pounds. I wish, but I can't. I can't do, I can't lay in bed all day and become a millionaire. I can't do that. So what do I want most versus what do I want now? And that is 1000% a mindset thing. It is not a skill. It is not based on education. It is not based on experience. It is not based in anything besides up here, your mindset and your desire to want something more than you want whatever's happening right now. Right. So it can be really deceiving because, again, I made this post, I think it was like a day or two ago, where I was like, you may not feel aligned with something that's happening right now. Trust me, I don't feel aligned with hard work. I'm not aligned with waking up early and staying up late. I'm not aligned with telling people or having hard discussions with people. I'm not aligned with, making posts all the time. I'm not aligned with going live. I'm not aligned with any of that stuff. But I am aligned with success. I am aligned with my goals. I am aligned with the things I want later. So I do that stuff now. And I think a lot of times people like to tell themselves, oh, well, because I'm not in alignment with this, it must not be for me. No, like that is comfort trying to say, like, come here, oh, you don't align with that. Come here. Right. And again, it's all about, do you have the discipline to you have to have those voices inside, those mantras, those affirmations, those things that are louder than that comfort, because it will scream at you. And you have to have that mindset that can yell back and be like, no. And then I said on here, like, do what they do to get what they get. Literally, as you were saying, what do millionaires do? So I was like, well, there goes that. Like, you heard that. But it's true. Can you honestly, and I'm not saying this to target, I'm just literally going with what I see, is like, can you say Abigail and Brianna and Heather and Toby and Cheyenne, can you literally say whatever your goal is, right? I don't know. I don't care if like your end goal is 12K or your end goal is 200K, your end goal is millionaire. But can you honestly say that you wake up and do everything that that person does? Can you honestly say you wake up and do everything a millionaire does? That's what pushes me to wake up and continue doing the things that I do. I look at people and go, okay, who is a millionaire? Okay, Jessie Lee's a millionaire. What does she do? Am I doing that? No, I'm not doing a quarter of what she does. So like, I need to step up. If she's going to do one-on-ones, that's what I'm going to do. If she's going to go live and pack her minis, that's what I'm going to do. If she's going to go do the things, so am I. Now, am I saying model yourself after someone exactly? No, but think to what can you do that's similar to like what they are doing? Are you matching their effort? And inherently, when you do that, you are setting the pace for your team. So you can always be faster than your team, but you never want to be slower than your team, because you know why? Your team will slow down to your pace. Like, it always happens. You are the pace car. So if you're going 2 miles an hour, they're going to go 2 miles an hour. Right? If you're going 50 miles an hour, they might not be able to go 50, but they'll go 30 or 40. They'll push it to the limit, whatever it is. And if they're giving you their all, that's all you need. Right? But if you slow down, so will they. And it's just one of those things where it is all mindset. It's not skill, it's not knowledge, it's not experience, it's not time, it's not anything. It's simply just mindset. And I wrote on here, and I just read it. I've read it in so many books. I've heard it in so many podcasts. And it just says the only difference between you and a millionaire is time and their mindset. That's it. Time and mindset. They have just overcome more crap and just have given less craps about the word no than you have. They've just heard the word no more. So are you chasing no? Right? Are you chasing the no, or are you too scared of it? Because if you're too scared of it, that stuff that you want on the other side is not going to happen. Because that's where a lot of that stuff hangs out. A success hangs out on the other side of what you're scared of. And I just want to tell you something. This is like a fun fact I learned when I was doing a lot of in-home behavior therapy, is By the time you are 18, you hear the word no like 500, over 500,000 times. By the time you're 24, I think you hear it like 2.4 million times. And yet it is the one word that we are scared of most. It is like literally defies behavior psychology because you think you'd become numb to it. You think that you'd have like this, like you wouldn't even care. like Chinese water torture. Like after a while, the water drip, you like, I don't even care. Right. But it's 2 letters. You are scared of 2 letters. That's all it is. No only has the meaning you give it. And so many of you are terrified of it. So many of us are terrified of it. And like she says, it literally is just mindset. It literally is just something you continue to tell yourself.
My daughter's in the hallway yelling no at my son. So you're like, it's no. And I'm here like, no, in the background. There was one other quick thing that I wanted to share. And it was actually something my husband said to me, and that's not, love my husband. I mean, that's not something you're going to hear very often. God love him. When I was doubting, do I want to do this? Am I in this to win this? Or am I doing this like a hobby? Am I really up for this? And he said to me, well, if you had an extra 10 people that were like on your team, if you had 10 people on your team that were like relying on you, would you still feel like that? And I really sat there for a minute and I was like, well, no, I wouldn't even consider leaving then, because I wouldn't consider giving up because people are relying on me. So what I'm saying is consider for a minute that you have a space that's coming, that you're creating, and you just haven't gotten there yet. And if you were there, you wouldn't feel like maybe you do sometimes where you don't think, like where you think you're just going to dip out on your assignments, on your goals, on your productivity, on, well, it's just one donut. There goes your 3 workouts, so yeah, I think that's a really awesome thing is what if this scenario, and it's not only possible, that's your future. And that's where you need to be looking is, there are people that are out there, they need me and they just don't have me yet. And if I quit now, look at our whole team. Like Courtney was saying, like if she just was like, oh, I think this just isn't for me, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be, it is like, I don't know the math term, but like multiplied, like what is that, like quantifiable? I don't even know. My brain's spacing, but it is magnifying in like just huge. You're like, oh, it's just me and a few people I touch, but you don't see what that's doing in their family and their life. And then it's them and their families and their lives. And sooner or later, you as one person have become the change in the world that you wanted to see. And if you give up on that destiny that's there for you to be an impact in your world, like show up for more than just you.
Yeah, no, I absolutely I love that. And I think the moment you said that, I saw like the chat kind of explode where it says you're creating the space for that right now. Like your actions and how you're showing up is creating the space. And I think that was so powerful because I think sometimes people forget to see that your actions right now, you feel like because this space isn't filled, that it's not worth anything. But you have to first create the space. So if your efforts aren't there creating the space, you will not be open to receiving it. So I want you to think about that too. I think that's so powerful. It's kind of like there's like this like word picture where they talk about, there's people out like giving rice, how like they have in like third world countries, they'll deliver rice and there's people on trucks and they're like literally pouring rice into these like tin bowls that people bring. And there was a picture and it shows this one woman going like this. And it was like they couldn't give her rice because she didn't come ready to receive. She didn't come with something open and willing that they could pour into. And so are you creating the space for that to happen? Are you creating the space for abundance to find you and for your team to find you, right? It's like having a home before you have a family. Like you have a family, where are you going to bring them? Where are you going to raise them? Where are you guys going to live? Same thing. You are building that space. You are building a home for your future team, whether you have one person, no people, 20 people, but those 20 people ain't there anymore. They're vagabonds. They're living everywhere and all over. Like, are you creating the space? Are you opening it up? I love that. I really, really love that. And I think based on the chat, a lot of people do too.
I'm totally not seeing it. I can't do two things at once, guys. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's just know that I think people really, that's really resonating with people, because I think a lot of times we see what we don't have. We're almost afraid to create the space because all we see is the void. We see it not filled. And so we don't understand the value of it, that it first has to be created in order to be filled.
That was like when you manifest something, like I heard in the chat today in my team, what was it? I think Caitlin was like, oh, that Lexus. I think I could be wrong. And I'm like, do you want to hand away your Lexus? That Lexus has your name on it. You ready to give it away? Are you ready to give away that awesome vacation that your kids are going to have? Are you ready to give away those things? They're yours. You just have to.
Claiming it as if things are already yours. There was and I think it was, we had to do this for our Orlando leaders trip, and they had us write a letter as our future self as our future self. And it was just like writing as if you already had all those things you wanted. Man, it's so nice. I'm sitting on the beach, you know, I'm thinking of you. I'm sitting on the beach in my condo in Cabo. You know, my husband and I, you know, we drove our Lamborghini here, like whatever it is for you. It could be anything. But you write as if it's already yours, because that's kind of what an abundance mindset is it's already yours. So stop thinking you have to work to get it. You have to work. What you're doing right now is you're working to keep it. If you are either working to keep it or you are giving it up. So I want you to imagine that it's already yours. It's already in your basket. And how you show up every effing day is you deciding if you are going to keep it. I am almost like having, like Rachel gave me like the chills. So you either are keeping it or you are giving it away. No, I don't want that. No, I'm not worthy of that. No, I can't have that. I don't want that house. I don't want that car. I don't want my kids' college paid in full. I don't want these things. No, like how you're showing up today for yourself. So stop thinking that it's this void that you have to fill up. No, it's already filled. Are you doing things to protect it, or are you doing things to give them away and give them up? Because that's what a lot of people do. Is a lot of people, how they show up or a lack thereof is them surrendering those things. It's them removing them from their vision. And so it's not the other way around. You are not in your journey to go collect these things. They're already yours. They're already here. They're already in your home, in that space, in everything. The team you want is already there. But how you are showing up today is, are you giving them up? Are you giving them up to somebody else? Are they signing up under another person? Are they finding another opportunity? Are they telling themselves they're not worthy and they just kind of just decide that they don't want it anymore? So how we are showing up is kind of telling our future self what we want and don't want. And then our future self will be like, oh, wow, I guess Toby doesn't want that car. Oh, I guess Brian really didn't want his mortgage paid off. Okay. You know, wow, I guess Courtney and Caleb, they didn't want to save for their kids' future. That's fine. That's okay. Right? Like they just give them up. They put them away. They're like, wow, I'll go give it to somebody else. So the abundance mindset, and we'll wrap it up with this, because I know mindset is something we can go on and on and on about, but it's really something that there is not a limited amount of anything. There is not a limited amount of money. There is not a limited amount of homes. There is not a limited amount of anything. There is enough for everybody. And where that scarcity mindset is, I gotta get it now. I gotta do this in order to go get it. Nope. It's already yours. What are you doing to keep it? What are you doing to secure it? What are you doing to kind of stay aligned with that reality that's already waiting for you? Because if every choice you make is either aligning you further, getting you closer, or you're veering farther and farther away from it, creating a new reality where those things aren't there for you. They're not waiting. Other things are waiting for you. I think it was so powerful, Rachel. Rachel's now taking over Mindset Monday, guys. So
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to ramble to everybody. This really helps me, guys. This helps give me purpose, and you being here as a space to listen to me, this really helps me feel empowered. So I appreciate it.
I think that everyone else is finding incredible value from it. So thank you so much, guys, for staying on with us this long. We will now pass you off to Haley. I think in 15 minutes, it's inspiration, correct, Haley? I believe it's in 15. Okay. All right. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rachel, for being brave enough to do this. And we look forward to so many more from you. Bye, everybody.